Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Bol. Om Agyana Timirandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshur Unmilitam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Svairupa Kadama Yam Dadati Svapadantикam. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sinubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha.
Recording in progress.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Radhara Shrivas Adigaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Good evening, dear devotees, Hare Krishna. So, we are going to discuss 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We are going to continue to read this wonderful chapter. Hari Hari Bo. And as far as we remember, there was process of transmigration which was described in the verses from 6 to 11, right? 6 to 11. So we're going to read these verses from 6 to 11 again just to get the whole picture. And then we're going to analyze verses one by one till we will cover the chapter. Maybe we will cover it today, maybe we will cover it day after tomorrow, we will see. Okay, we start from the verse number 6. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon or by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. The living entity is in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense enjoyment. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. And now we're going to discuss verse number 11, which actually concludes this section of the chapter, section from the verses from 6 to 11, section which is entitled Transmigration, or the law of reincarnation. And we're going to ask Dvarkadish Prabhuji to read this verse and translation of this 11th verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Hare.
Text, chapter 15, text 11. Yatanto yogina cha enam pasyanti atmani avastitam yatanto api akartat atmano nainam pasyanti chetasaha. Translation: the endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all these clearly, but those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may be tried to. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice verse, right? So, the law of transmigration is described here, that there are desires that we have in our minds, and because of these desires we get particular form of body, and all these gyanendriyas or senses that we have in our form of body are, like it was written in one of the previous verses, it is grouped around mind. It means the mind is basically the reason why we are getting these forms of life, why we are getting this material, gross body, subtle body. And this law of transmigration is cannot be understood by foolish people. There was a verse here in this section of the verses. There is category of foolish people who are not able to understand this law, and there are two reasons why they are unable. One reason is that they have no knowledge, and the second reason is that they have no interest to develop this knowledge, to get this knowledge. And now this verse number 11 explains or describes the category of people who are able to understand this law of transmigration. And in this verse, word yoginaha is used. Srila Prabhupada translates this word, the transcendentalist, but at the same time, he writes in the purport that to be transcendentalist and to be yogi, it is not the same, because there are so many so-called yogis or hatha yogis or whatever who are just doing exercises for health, to keep their body fit and healthy. And usually, so we have this Ashtanga yoga, this process of Ashtanga yoga, which contains 6 parts: yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. There are books about Ashtanga yoga. So these people in so-called yoga studios, they just take two parts from this system, from this Ashtanga yoga system. One part is asana, particular postures to keep body fit and healthy. And the second one, it is pranayamas, some breathing exercises. But before asana and pranayama, we have in this traditional Ashtanga yoga system, we have yama and niyama, means prescriptions and regulations, some rules, what should be done, what should not be done, some ethical requirements. So in these Western yoga studios, they are not asking people for anything. They are not asking them to give up meat eating, for example, or to become honest people, or not to gamble and so on. They are just exercising their bodies and their breathing system by asanas and pranayamas. So Srila Prabhupada writes here in the purport to the verse number 11, the word yoginaha is significant in this connection. In the present day, there are many so-called yogis, and there are many so-called associations of yogis, but they are actually blind in the matter of self-realization. Yoga means link or means connection. So the question raises, with whom or with what we are going to connect ourselves? And Srila Prabhupada many times he explains in his books that real yoga is Bhakti yoga. Because of this yoga we become connected with Krishna, with our origin. And there are so many fake yoga systems when, well, usually they don't ask anything from people from moral point of view, from ethical point of view. They are not asking for anything. They are just exercising bodies, exercising breathing system, and taking money from people. So there are some purports in Srimad Bhagavatam where Srila Prabhupada is criticizing such tendency when Western people, they just take these parts of yoga system that help them to keep their body healthy, but they are ignoring spiritual meaning of this process of the yoga. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:2-5. And here in purport, Srila Prabhupada describes these yogis, that there are different yogis. They are not always qualified to perform asanas, pranayamas, and so on. Even for that, they are not qualified if we are speaking about common people of Kali Yuga. So I'm reading the part of the purport. As recommended in Bhagavad Gita, yogis should practice samprekshaya nasigagram, keeping their eyes half open. It is written in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, keeping their eyes half open. It is the recommendation regarding Ashtanga Yoga. If the eyes are closed completely, there will be a tendency to sleep. So-called yogis sometimes practice a fashionable form of yoga by closing their eyes and meditating, but we have actually seen such so-called yogis sleeping and snoring while meditating. This is not the practice of yoga. To actually practice yoga, one should keep his eyes half open and gaze at the tip of his nose. So you see, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very merciful. He gave us such process which doesn't ask us or requires any specific qualification from us. I mean, we don't have to have our own body to be trained. Like here in Ashtanga Yoga, in Hatha Yoga, some kind of training, body training is needed. But in Bhakti Yoga, we should just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it is not that everyone is. Some people are able to be in lotus posture, right? In lotus asana, and some people are not. And it is not critical, it is not essential. The essential is just to memorize this very simple Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. At the same time, it is good when we are keeping our body healthy. Otherwise, this tendency to sleep and to snore while we are trying to chant our japa, this tendency is also can be there. So if we feel this tendency, there is a recommendation. One can chant holy names while walking. It is also possible. It is better, because if you are sleeping, if when you are sitting you fall asleep, it means tamagun or mode of ignorance is influencing on us. We don't know why it's influencing. Maybe we don't sleep sufficiently. Maybe our body is not healthy. But anyway, it happens with us. Usually we explain it in such way that if someone falls asleep while sitting and chanting holy names, it means he has no taste, or he has no sufficient taste for chanting. Otherwise, if taste is there, then he will be naturally attracted to these sounds and he will not be sleeping. And usually the example is given that when we take prasadam, usually we don't sleep, right? We take prasadam, naturally we become attracted to prasadam. So what is the problem? Usually we don't sleep when we chant, when we take prasadam, but when we sit and chant holy names, then we can fall asleep. So in that case, we should check. Maybe we don't sleep sufficiently. Maybe we should sleep a little bit more. Or maybe we have some health issues. We can stand up and chant holy names while walking. It is not the best option. It is not the best option, but it will be the mode of passion. But mode of passion is better than mode of ignorance. So it depends on us. In which mode of material nature, under which mode of material nature we are while we're sitting on a chair and chanting holy names. If tamagun prevails, then we can fight with this tamagun by increasing rajagun, by chanting while walking, which is not the best option, because better to have such mind and such body when we just sit and chant holy names and we are not sleeping, and but for that taste is needed and sattvaguna is needed. So that's why we're saying we're not rejecting Hatha Yoga. We're not rejecting Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga is needed, or some other systems are needed to keep our body and mind healthy as long as it is possible. The main point is that when these Western people are trying to open their yoga studios, and they are saying that it is path of self-realization, usually it is not path of self-realization, it is path of keeping body healthy and mind peaceful a little bit for some period of time. So he is criticizing, Srila Prabhupada is criticizing these yoga studios. He is saying that if we are speaking about Ashtanga yoga should be performed in secluded place, ideally in Himalayas. It cannot be performed in urban surrounding, cannot be performed because the atmosphere is not suitable. So this particular part of Hatha Yoga is performed usually in these yoga studios, which is helpful for health, but which has nothing common with idea of spiritual advancement. Moreover, we're living in Kali Yuga, so the process of our spiritual advancement, it is not Ashtanga Yoga, it is Bhakti Yoga. We are chanting holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we have one more purport where Srila Prabhupada is criticizing these yogis. You can take a note. If you are taking notes, you can write the number of this verse. And it is optional. It is not mandatory. It is optional. But you can read the purport to the verse 3:15:45. 3:15:45. Very nice purport where Srila Prabhupada expresses his opinion regarding what does it mean to be yogi, what it is yoga. He explains it very nicely here in this purport to the verse 3:15:45. 3:15:45. So I will just read a little part of this purport where Srila Prabhupada explains about this Ashtanga Yoga. Despite all the allurement of yoga practice, the 8 kind of yogic perfections are hardly achievable by the common man. You know that in Satya Yuga, people, they were living very long life. Common men, they should be trained mentally, physically. If they want to go through all the process of Ashtanga Yoga, all the 8 limbs of this process, are hardly achievable by the common man. But here it is described that the Lord who appeared before the 4 sages, it means 4 Kumaras, is himself full of all 8 of those perfections. The highest Yoga Marga process is to concentrate the mind 24 hours a day on Krishna. It is exactly what we are doing while we chant holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And the result of this process of Hatha Yoga, the main process is to chant holy names of Krishna, but we have actually 64 angas or processes of devotional service that are described in Nectar of Devotion. You will be reading this book also to understand in details what does it mean to practice Bhakti Yoga. So we're discussing verse number 15:11 and the qualification to understand how this law of transmigration works. It is described there. So this vision, this understanding comes when one is able to see this world through the eyes of Guru Sadhu Shastra. It is called Shastra Chakshus, or to see the world through the eyes of Shastra. Means we should be well versed, we should know what is written there, and we should get some vigyan, some realizations on this subject matter, and then our perception of the world which is around us will be changed. And we're going to the next verse. It is verse number 12, and from this verse the next section starts. The next section in this chapter starts. The section goes from the verse 12 to the verse 15. This this section is about how Krishna maintains us, how he is acting as our maintainer, or in Sanskrit language, this maintainer will be Bibharta. This word will be used in the verse 15-17. Bibharta means he maintains us. And now we're going to read these verses. Verse 15.12. Naratama Prabhuji, please kindly read this verse and translation of this verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, good evening.
Yat aditya gadam tejo jagat bhasayate akilam yat chandra masi yat jagno tat tejo vidi mamakam. Translation. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, these verses from 12 to 15, here the process is described, how we can understand Shri Krishna's mercy that he bestows on us. We can even understand this mercy, his mercy, even on the level of Annamaya. Maybe you remember this word from 13th chapter. Level of Annamaya, or bodily conception of life. Even if someone considers himself that he is this material body, anyway, the idea of accepting Supreme Lord on the level of Annamaya, it means Supreme Lord gives me food, he gives me sunlight, moonlight, all these things. Means one doesn't have to be too much elevated to understand and to accept these things. So Krishna gives sunlight, he gives moonlight, the fire also comes from him, and, and because of this light, the darkness of the whole world is dissipated. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that not only sunlight, moonlight, or fire comes from Supreme Personality of Godhead, but also electricity comes from him. So just let's remind ourselves about that quote that we have read on Friday, that let's go to spiritual world. There is no need to pay for electricity there, right? So electricity also comes from him. Of course, human society, they need particular equipment to produce electricity. But anyway, we produce this electricity from whatever we produce. From sunlight we can produce from the water which moves, the river goes and we can, or sea or ocean goes and we can produce electricity from there. Anyway, it is also energy of Krishna, it is his Shakti. So we can meditate on this, and here just at the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he recommends to do something. He gives recommendation to each and he gives recommendation to all of us. The moonshine is so pleasing that people can easily understand that they are living by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Without his mercy, there cannot be sun. Without his mercy, there can be moon. And without his mercy, there cannot be fire. And without the help of sun, moon, or fire, one cannot live. No one can live. There are some thoughts to provoke Krishna consciousness in the conditioned soul. We can provoke ourselves by thinking about Krishna's mercy in form of sunlight, moonlight, fire, electricity. Means this gratitude, this emotion or feeling of gratitude is important for spiritual life. Once I remember one Radhanath Swami's disciple, he taught that actually it is the difference between animal and human being. Animals, they usually are not grateful. they are unable to experience gratitude, but human beings, they are able. So we can meditate on this, and just by thinking what Krishna gave us, we can make a list. We can analyze our own life. What do we have in our life? Fire, moon, light, sunlight, and different capacities, resources, etc. in our life. We can make a list, we can analyze it, and we can think about this, that it is only because of Krishna I have it, and this emotion of gratitude will help us, will provoke Krishna consciousness in the conditioned soul. Let's provoke ourselves. Let's meditate on these things, because it is so nice. And we have verse number 13. And Mataji Mira, would you like to read the verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Gam avishya cha bhutani dara yami aham ojasha pushnami chaushadihi sarvaha samo bhutva rashatmakaha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So you see in this verse, there is very important word. Rasatmakaha. Rasatmakaha. It means, let's see the word by word translation. Rasat makaha, supplying the juice. It means what? Very important point. Verse 15.13. Basically, it means that all vegetables or fruits, they are tasty because of Krishna, because he gives taste to any fruit, to any vegetable. You see? Likely you have your favorite fruits or favorite vegetables. So this taste is by Krishna's arrangement. Not just because of some laws of material nature, like materialistic scientists, they will be explaining that there are molecules and there are some biological processes, and because of that some chemistry is going on inside, and because of that the taste is produced. Okay, from materialistic point of view, in material dimension, we also can explain it in such way, but devotee he understand that these vegetables and fruits are tasty because Krishna Rasat Makaha, he is giving taste to these vegetables and fruits. It is his mercy. And also he says here in verse 15.13 that he enters into each planet, and by his energy these planets are staying in orbit. Just let's remind ourselves about the verse from 7th chapter, 7.7, where this idea, the same idea already was described, already was presented by Krishna. Matah parataram nanyat, kinchit asti dhananjaya, mai sarvamadam protam, sutre mani gana iva. It is the method that we are repeating. Krishna is repeating these things again and again. O conqueror of wealth, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as spears are strung on a thread. So the whole universe, the whole creation rests upon Krishna's energy. And the same way, these planets, why they are in orbit, why they are not falling down. Materialistic scientists, they can create different theories why it happens, but Krishna, he explains that it is because he helps these planets to remain in orbit. It is because of him. Otherwise, dissolution is there, destruction is there, everything falls down, nothing remains. Everything is so easily destructible, and no sunlight, no moonlight, no fire, and no tasty fruits and vegetables. Everything is untasty without Krishna. Krishna helps us. On this level of Annamaya, it is quite easy to understand. Everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Supreme Lord. It is the last statement in purport. Everything becomes palatable by the agency of the Supreme Lord through the influence of the moon. Moon is influencing on vegetables, but moon is influencing because Krishna wants moon to do this. Verse number 14. Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Aham Vaisvanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Asritaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachami Anam Chaturvidam. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living in the days, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuff. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, these verses are about food. Basically, it is all about food. That we cannot grow our own food without sunlight, moonlight. Then we cannot cook this food without fire on which we can cook it. And there is a need of fire of digestion, which will help us to digest this food otherwise. And this fire of digestion is also Krishna. So you see, he is everywhere. Without his presence, without his mercy, we cannot do anything, because the very process of our nourishment, physical nourishment with this food, is based on Krishna's mercy. And the word chatuh vidham, or the 4 kinds of food, is mentioned here. Of course, it reminds us about this prayer Shri Shri Gurvashtakam, which we usually chant in morning hours. It is verse number 4. Chatur vidha Shri Bhagavat Prasada Svadvana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangan Kritvaiva Triptim Bhajatach Sadaiva Vandeya Guroch Shri Charana Ravinnam. So these 4 types of food are mentioned here, and spiritual master is also mentioned here, that he is always offering Krishna 4 kinds of delicious food, and the explanation goes that it is food which is licked, chewed, drunk, and sucked. When the spiritual master sees that the devotees are satisfied by eating Bhagavad Prasada, he is satisfied. I offer my respectful obeisances under the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. So the way how we can satisfy spiritual master, one of the ways is mentioned here in these prayers. We can just take prasadam, he already will be happy. And these 4 types of food are mentioned here. We can have some examples of these 4 types of food. For example, food which is chewed, or charvya. In Sanskrit we call it charvya. It is like solid sweets, or grains, or bread. It is something that we have to chew. And something that we have to suck, it is like sugar cane or fresh mango. It is the case when we suck it, and then there is something that we just throw away, like in case of sugar cane. It is another type of food. And lehya means something that one has to lick. It is like honey, or chutney, or thick syrups. And peya, or something which we drank, it is milk, fruit juice, water, and many other liquids that we usually drink, many other drinks. So there are 4 categories of food, and all of these categories, if they are vegetarian, they can be easily offered to Krishna, then they can be taken, and then spiritual master is happy just by knowing that we are taking prasadam. We should take prasadam only. We should not take anything in some how to say, in some places where they provide some food, some snacks, and so on. These half standards are not good for spiritual life. And in Nectar of Instruction, it is written there in the purport to the first verse that one should be strict about this, to control his tongue. And his spiritual master also will be happy if we are doing this, if he does it. Unless the Supreme Lord helps him in digesting, there is no possibility of eating. He thus produces and digests foodstuff, and by his grace we're enjoying life. In the Vedanta Sutra 1-27, this is also confirmed. The Lord is situated within sound and within the body, within the air, and even within the stomach as the digestive force. So, Ashtanga yogis, they are trying to realize, to understand, to feel the presence of Super Soul in their hearts, right? It is their prayojana. They are trying to feel the presence of Super Soul in their hearts. It is difficult process, but Supreme Lord is manifested not only in form of Super Soul, he is also manifested in form of digestive force, and one can easily feel, is digestive force here or not? It is much more easier to feel than to feel the presence of Super Soul. And moonlight, sunlight also, we can look on the sky and we can see this light. It is also about Krishna. It is so nice to feel his presence with us. Verse 15.15, where the position of Super Soul is described, a very important verse, which is mandatory for memorization. And Taruna Jagannath Prabhuji, your Mataji, can she read the verse? Is it possible?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Mataji. Good evening.
Good evening. Sarvasya cha aham kitti sani vishto mataha smiti janam apohanam cha vedasi cha sarvari aham eva vidhayo vedanta kit vedavit eva chaham. Translation. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, mainly this Vedic literature is about karma kanda, is about how to achieve Indraloka, how to achieve heavenly planets. But in this verse from Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Krishna, he says that he is the compiler of Vedanta and he is actually Prayojana, or the highest goal of Vedanta. So many books, Vedic literature, are about Karma Kanda, and only small amount, not so many books, Vedic books, are about Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada is so merciful, he translated the essence of Vedic literature. He gave this essence to us in form of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He saved a lot of time, of our time, that we are not going to waste. We can go directly to the essence of the Vedic science, of the Vedic knowledge, that Krishna is the origin of Vedic literature, and he is someone who has to be known by all Vedas, and he is compiler of Vedanta. So he is present in everyone's heart, and he gives remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. It is an important point regarding our spiritual life. Why? Because we are trying to practice Krishna consciousness now. And if we will be determined on this path, then Super Soul will understand, oh, this guy or this Mataji is quite serious about spiritual life. I will remind, next birth I will remind him or I will remind her about this activity and will arrange all the facilities in such way, all the circumstances of his or her life in such way that he or she will be able to continue. It is very important. Whatever we're doing in this life, if we take something seriously in this life, there is a big chance that Super Soul will help us to continue the same activity our next birth. The same idea is expressed in the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Divisions of Faith, that human beings they can invest their efforts and their faith in particular types of human activities. And if they are doing this on a regular basis, and if they take something seriously, then particular type of faith is created in one's heart, and Super Soul will help living entity to be steady with his or her beliefs. Someone is thinking that my faith is strong. It is my choice. It is my position that my faith is strong. But in 17th chapter, we'll get to know that one can be strong in his faith or in his beliefs only because Super Soul helps to maintain, to protect these beliefs in one's heart. It works like this. So we're going to our famous book, which is called Srila Prabhupada's Quotes, and there is nice quote which illustrates this principle. Srila Prabhupada gives a class in New York in 1966, and he gives the example. He has got a taste from the previous life, so it appeals to him. Because he had his practice in his previous life, nothing appeals anything more. He has got a taste from the previous life. Purva Bhyakshena Tenaiva Hriate Hyavaso Pi Saha, just like somebody is forcing. Oh, you take this, just like one who is sinful, he is also forced to go to the Bowery Street. Tarun Jagana Prabhu, you don't like this quote, right? You don't like this quote, you decided to cancel the quote, right? You don't like it. Just like one who is sinful, he is also forced to go to the Bowery Street. You see, similarly, one who is pious in his life, he has begun this spiritual. He is forced to cultivate and make progress, because if God is within you, He is within you. Sarvasya chaham hridi sanivishtah. He is seated in everyone's heart. Matach smritir gyanam. He gives reminders. Yes, you missed this point from here. Now come on, begin again, be perfect. Don't lose this chance. He is so kind. Smritir Gyanam. You see? He is supreme reminder. Krishna is supreme reminder. Like sometimes we put some reminders on our smartphones, right? To remind ourselves about something. But we cannot take our smartphone in our what's going on? We cannot take our smartphone in our next birth, right? So Krishna will take care of us. He will remind us about everything. He will remind us about what we have to do next life. He is so merciful. Krishna is so merciful. Thank you. Thank you, Krishna. Krishna, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sorry, one more quote from the same book. Let's go back to the book. Just one moment. There is one more quote from here. It is on page 60. Very interesting point. So you see, he gives, again, we are speaking about Super Soul. Matach smritir gyanam apochanam cha. He gives knowledge, He gives remembrance, he gives forgetfulness, and also, just let's put it all together. There is one more verse from 13th chapter. Upadrashta numanta cha, Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha. Maybe you remember this verse. As far as I remember, it is mandatory for memorization. So some more features of Super Soul. Upadrashta numanta cha. Upadrashta. He is looking what we are doing. Upadrashta. Upadrashta numanta cha. Anumanta means he gives sanction. He gives permission. Means we have some desires or we want to do something and he allows us to do something or he doesn't allow or he fulfills our desires or he doesn't fulfill. Upadrashta means he is looking what we are doing. Anumanta means he is giving sanctions or he is not giving sanctions. Upadrashta anumanta cha, Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha, Bhokta supreme enjoyer. And Bharta means, as far as I remember, he is everything belongs to him. So he gives permission. Now we are going to read this quote from Srila Prabhupada's memories. It is a class which he gave in Mumbai, in Bombay, in 1973 on Bhagavad Gita. Even for going to the privy, means to the toilet, even for going to the toilet, I wanted permission of my mother. Anumanta means without his permission you cannot do anything. You cannot do anything because everything belongs to Krishna. How you can use something without Krishna permission? So Anumanta and Upadrashta, just like father and son, little child, he wants to do something and wants permission from the father or the mother, and he gives. In our childhood, I remember that even for going to the privy, means toilet, to the toilet, I wanted permission of my mother. Can I go? Mother is not restricting me. Still, I'm asking the permission of mother. I remember it. This is natural. Similarly, we cannot do anything without the permission of the super soul within the heart. Sarvasya chaham hridi sani vishtu. So when we do something wrong, how Krishna as Paramatma gives permission? This question may be raised, but he gives permission when I do something wrong, because I cannot do anything without his permission, but he gives me permission. Karanam guna sangasya, that is already explained. He can give you permission, but, just pay attention on this, he can give you permission, but the enjoyment and suffering will have to be taken by you. Means it is your responsibility. What will be the result? Will you enjoy or will you suffer? He permits. It is okay. But it doesn't mean that he takes responsibility for will you like it or not. Okay? He can permit. It is not that everything which he permits, he likes. Sometimes he just allows living entity to do something. If something is permitted by Krishna, it doesn't obviously mean that it is approved by Krishna. That's why living entities in material world, they not only do some spiritual practices, but also they commit some sinful activities, because it is allowed to do here in material world. It is allowed, but it is not approved. And the consequences of sinful activities are not pleasant for those who are doing this, for those to whom it is done. It is destructive activities, demoniac activities, and these activities will be described in the next 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Divine natures, demoniac natures, this will be described there. So to permit or to allow to do something and to approve, it is not the same. If we want to do only what is approved by Krishna, not just allowed, but approved, we have to follow Guru Sadhu Shastra. It is the sources of real knowledge. And if some living entities are doing only what is approved by Krishna and what is pleasant for Krishna, and they are not doing anything else, then these people we call that they are pure devotees. They are pure devotees of the Lord. Those who are doing only what is pleasant for Krishna and what Krishna likes. He can give you permission, but the enjoyment and suffering will have to be taken by you. You insist permission. I want to do this. And without permission, you cannot do it. Therefore, Krishna gives you permission. All right, you do it, but at your own risk. Krishna doesn't want you. Krishna doesn't want that you should do it, but you want to do it. Therefore, he gives permission. It works like this. Like, for example, sometimes spiritual masters, they also have to allow their disciples to do something which actually they prefer not to allow, but they know that this particular disciple, anyway, he will be doing this. So let me permit him this. Otherwise, he will get the reactions for Gurur Avagya. Gurur Avagya, it is the offense to spiritual master when we are not following his instructions. So spiritual master, he wants to protect his disciple from Gurur Avagya, from the consequences of the situation when he doesn't obey, doesn't follow the instructions of spiritual master. How disciple can be protected from Gurur Avagya? Point number one, spiritual master is not going to give to his disciple any specific personal instructions. Only those instructions that are given for everyone. Chant Hare Krishna, read books, and take prasadam and so on. No specific personal instructions. If he sees that this particular person, he or she is initiated, but he is not going to obey. Some people are not qualified to be obedient. And usually spiritual master is able to see, is that person obedient or not. Or in some cases, it is quite visible when disciple, he has particular idea and he will be acting according to his idea. And he approaches his spiritual master and he is asking for benediction, for blessings. You do, just bless me to do this. And sometimes spiritual master is forced to give this blessing, not because he really blesses, but because otherwise, if it will not be blessed or it will not be permitted anyway, that devotee will follow his own agenda, and in such way he will commit Gurur Avagya. And it is really serious offense, which has serious consequences to disobey the orders of bona fide representative of Krishna. Especially if we took it seriously. At the very beginning, we took him seriously as Krishna's representative. And after some time, we decided, okay, it was my mistake. It was my mistake. I just took this path by mistake. And sometimes faith can be stronger, sometimes it becomes weak. But if it becomes weak, what is the solution? We should approach spiritual master, or we should approach some devotees whom we trust and who will help us to reestablish our faith. If something happened with our faith or it became weak, then we need help. We need help. It is not that we should just follow whatever our mind tells us that, okay, my faith is weak now, it means that I will be doing something else now. No, it is commitments before bona fide representative of Krishna, and it should be taken really seriously. So he can give you permission, but the enjoyment and suffering will have to be taken by you. Srila Prabhupada explains this in this class. And the same idea already was there in previous chapter. Just one moment. Hare Krishna. In previous chapter, everything is visible, right? Visible. Visible, okay. In previous chapter, in 14th chapter, we already had this point. this already was mentioned in this verse, 14.21. Sorry, not this verse, another verse. Which verse? Where it is? Just one moment. Maybe. Just one moment. No, not this verse. Another verse. Sorry. Just let's search for the verse. The verse where about enjoyment and sufferings was mentioned. Just let's search for the verse. This one. 13.21. This one. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. Means we're responsible for the results of our decisions. And Supreme Lord, Super Soul, he can give permission. But if he gives permission, he can allow, he can permit. But to permit and to approve, it is not the same. So we get the results, and if it is some kind of whimsical desire, usually we are not so much happy. So because of that, we ask our spiritual master, what should we do to please Krishna? Because if we will please Krishna with our activities, then we naturally will become happy. We want to be happy, right? And because of that, we have one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Just let's check if I remember the number of this verse. It should be, this one. This one. It is exactly about happiness. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.3.21. Tasmad gurum prapadita jigyasu shreya uttamam. Shabde pare chanishnatam brahmanyu pashamashrayam. It is exactly about happiness. Therefore, any person who seriously desires real happiness must seek a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of the bona fide guru is that he has realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberation and is able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, should be understood to be bona fide spiritual masters. So the qualification is described here, that he has gyan, means he has spiritual knowledge. He has vigyan. Vigyan means realizations. Not just he has theoretical knowledge, but he has practical implementation of this knowledge, and the transformation of his heart already happened, and now he is transcendental. And so gyan, vigyan, then vairagya. Vairagya means he left aside all material considerations. It is interrelated, Vijnana and Vairagya, because he gets spiritual taste. Because he gets spiritual taste, because of that he is able to reject material tastes, material considerations. He is not attracted to material nature. And the fourth symptom of bona fide spiritual master is that he belongs to bona fide parampara. He is not spiritual master himself, but he also a disciple of another bona fide spiritual master. So this parampara goes upward till Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everything starts from Krishna. Everything starts from Krishna. So again, 4 qualifications of spiritual master. Gyan means shastric knowledge. Vigyan means realizations, means real spiritual experience, his spiritual experience, which is based on shastric knowledge and transformation of one's heart. And the third point is vairagya, means not attached to material things, and he is absorbed in spiritual dimension. And fourth symptom is that he belongs to bona fide parampara, bona fide chain of disciplic succession. if he is such bona fide representative of Krishna, we can also approach him and ask for benedictions, permissions. Like Super Soul, he gives permission for our ideas, or or Super Soul can not to give the permission. It is up to Super Soul. So the same way, this Super Soul has the representative outside, means spiritual master. There is so this Guru Tattva is acting from within and acting outside. Outside, Guru Tattva is present in form of bona fide spiritual master, and from within is manifested in form of Chaitya Guru or Paramatma, Super Soul. So these things are interrelated. So again, if we're speaking about permissions that are given by Super Soul or given by Supreme, we can also approach bona fide spiritual master and we can ask him, do you approve such and such idea? And then humbly accept his opinion about our ideas. Let's see, maybe our ideas will be accepted, maybe our ideas will not be accepted, but anyway, this humility is needed. And we are going to the next 3 verses from 16 to 18. These verses from 15:16 to 15:18, it is a short description of Vedanta. Short description of Vedanta, this part. It is 3 shloka Gita of knowledge. It is summary of the Vedas and the Vedanta in form of these 3 shlokas from 15:16 to 15:18. And we're going to ask...
Hare Krishna,
you have a
just one
question, right?
Yes.
Question,
When
okay.
Lord Krishna gives us the permission, when we want to do when we want to do some activities, internally we understand that Lord Krishna is giving the permission as what we see earlier. But is it better to refer to the Chaitya Guru practically to move ahead or stop on that?
It is possible if you have qualification to distinguish between the voice of Paramatma and the voice of your own mind, and one can easily commit mistake there. That's why usually to check everything with spiritual authorities also.
Yeah, because sometimes we don't have the capability or ability to decide what we want to on our own, even though we got some kind of tinkle from the Supreme Lord. Yes, we have to do, but we are still in a crossroad. So it's better to refer to the Chaitya Guru.
Yeah, it is not, how to say, we cannot deny this idea. We can pray. We can pray to Krishna and maybe he will give a sign. But again, because we're conditioned, we cannot make mistake regarding this sign. We can understand everything in our own way. So better to combine it with the questions to some spiritual authorities whom we trust, to Guru Sadhu Shastra also. Otherwise, because we are conditioned, we can have some feeling from within. But how we can understand, is it super soul or is it mind? If someone is on the level of asakti, there are 8 stages of bhakti, from shraddha to prema. If someone is on the level of asakti, then one can easily distinguish. But before that, one can commit mistakes. Better to protect ourselves from these mistakes.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So one more clarification, Prabhu. So
Okay.
now we are comparing between devotees and non-devotees. You know, the devotees who are already initiated in Krishna consciousness, they have some kind of privilege to refer to the Chaitya Guru to move ahead. But those who are not initiated, not in Krishna consciousness, they are whimsically doing many things. So there will be more suffering lead to them, right?
Oh. You see, initiation is not 100% protection from our foolishness. Initiated devotees also sometimes they can do different interesting things. That's why I'm saying it is really important to be humble enough to accept someone, to accept some spiritual authorities who will be helping us. And anyway, because we are conditioned, we are destined. We are destined to commit some mistakes in our life, time to time. So it is not basically our fault that we are committing some mistakes. The fault is when we are not accepting the fact that it was mistake, or when we're not trying to rectify mistakes, then it is trouble. Otherwise, because it is the process of education, we are in the school of life, and like in school, we do some homework, we do different things. We're trying to learn something, and sometimes we commit mistakes. It is part of the educational process. So the same way in our life, we also commit some mistakes. When we commit mistakes, the most important part is that we will be able to extract the lessons from these mistakes or not. We will be able not to repeat the same mistakes. That is the point. Does it answer on your question?
Yes, Prabhu. So I understand what the Guru is the one who's going to correct us,
Exactly.
practically guiding us.
Yeah.
Although we are not able to see Krishna, but we are in the mundane world. So he's assigning Guru to guide us to move forward in his spiritual.
Yeah. He will guide.
Thank you.
He will guide if we. It is funny, but anyway, he will guide if we allow him to guide.
Right.
It is interrelated. It depends on what is our attitude to spiritual master. Otherwise, if he is seeing that we are not so much qualified to be guided, to be obedient, then he will not disturb us too much. Otherwise, we will get reaction for Guru Ravagya, as I told you previously. So if someone is chastised severely by spiritual master, it is special privilege, means that spiritual master, he has trust in this person that he will be able to digest, this chastisement. So there are different levels of disciples. Some of them, they are able to digest, some of them are unable, some of them are active, some of them are not. And according to this different categories, spiritual master, he is acting accordingly. Yeah.
So chastisement is actually a special mercy from the Guru.
It is considered to be special mercy. Again, it is the qualification of a disciple to accept it as the special mercy. And it is not that each and every disciple has this qualification to digest or to accept this as a special mercy. You see? Those who are not qualified for this, usually they are not chastised by spiritual master, because he is able to distinguish who is able to digest, who is not able.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for your nice questions. Keshavi Palini Mataji, would you like to read the verse number 16?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dvau ima purasa loke saras chakshara evacha sara sarvani bhutani kutaste stu sara uchyate. Translation. There are two classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is infallible. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the inhabitants of spiritual world and the inhabitants of material world are mentioned here. And we have two more terms, Sanskrit terms here. Kshara and Akshara. Kshara means fallible. Here, Kshara, fallible. You can write it down if you wish. Kshara means fallible living entity, or living entity who is inhabitant of material world. And Akshara, or infallible, means those living entities who are living in spiritual abode. So if we're speaking about the whole creation, then 25% it is material creation and 75% is spiritual dimension. It means that those who are akshara, we have more aksharas, we have more living entities who belong to the category of akshara or infallible. There are many of them. And also we have the word kutastha here, kutastha, oneness. Srila Prabhupada explains that when we're speaking about oneness or kutastha, it is not about this Mayavadi idea to dissolve in impersonal Brahman, to dissolve ourselves in impersonal Brahmajyoti. Kutastha means oneness with Supreme Lord regarding his desires. He has particular desires. Supreme Lord, he has particular desires. So those who are serving to Supreme Lord, they are in oneness with him. Just I'm trying to find this place. Here. They are in oneness with Supreme Lord, because Supreme Lord, he has particular desires, and living entities who are acting like servants of this Supreme Lord, when they are acting as servants, then this oneness is there, this unity is there. The same term, like here, we use term kutastha, and in Shri Ishapanishad, we use another term in Sanskrit language, it is called ekatvam. Ekatvam, it is also unity, it is also oneness with Supreme Lord based on desires of Supreme Lord, and the desire of a pure devotee to fulfill the desires of Supreme Lord. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, oneness doesn't mean that they have no individuality, but that there is no disunity. It means there is no disunity. They are all agreeable to the purpose of the creation. It is about aksharas, about inhabitants of spiritual world. They are agreeable to the purpose of the creation. Of course, in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as creation, but since the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as stated in the Vedanta Sutra, is the source of all emanations, that conception is explained. So there are fallible and unfallible living entities. Kshara, fallible, or also we use another term which is there in Nectar of Devotion, Nitya Badha. Maybe you have heard this term, Nitya Badha, or eternally bound by material energy. Kshara, all the same, Kshara, Nitya Badha. Nitya means eternally bound in material world. And when we're speaking about that this soul is bound eternally, it doesn't mean eternally, it means from time immemorial. It means we just don't know when it happened, when our fall down to material world happened. So because of that we're saying that it is eternally. It is not eternally. It is from time immemorial, but because it was long time ago, because of that, it is almost like eternity. It is almost like eternity. And we are going to the next verse. It will be the verse number 17, 17. Mataji Bhakti Priya Madhavi, would you like to read the verse?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, good evening.
Good evening, Prabhuji. Uttama Purushastvanya Paramatmetyudahritah Yo Lokatrayamavishya Vibhartya Vyaya Ishvara. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Besides these two, there is the greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord Himself, who has entered the three worlds and is maintaining them. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, this word two is important. Two or but, word by word translation, but, or in this translation, besides, Besides Ksharas and Aksharas, there is imperishable Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this word, this verse 15:17, it emphasizes very important idea that there is Jiva Tattva and there is Vishnu Tattva. So Supreme Lord, he is not ordinary conditioned human being like us, and he is not inhabitant. He is not Jivatma who is eternally situated in spiritual world. There is one more category. There is category of Jiva Tattva. There is category of Vishnu Tattva. Jiva Tattva is divided to Ksharas and Aksharas, and Supreme Lord is only one, Vishnu Tattva. He is not like his parts and parcels, Ksharas or Aksharas. That's why this word tu is used here in Sanskrit verse, tu, or besides in the translation, English translation, just to emphasize that Supreme Lord is different from Jivatmas, from living entities. It doesn't matter are these living entities conditioned or not conditioned. Supreme Lord, he is Vishnu Tattva, he is different from both categories of living entities. Verse number 18. And
Krishna, Prabhuji, I have one question. Can I ask?
Yes, of course you can. Yes.
Prabhuji, I'm a bit confused here. Like Jiva Tattva can be Ksharas or Aksharas. Aksharas means one who is like a pure devotee, Prabhuji, who is acting in accordance with the Lord's desire. Is that correct?
No.
Aksharas?
No, when we are speaking about Kshara and Akshara, it is not about pure devotee or not pure devotee. It is about where do they live. Ksharas, those who are living in the material world, and Aksharas, those who are living in spiritual dimension and spiritual world. Well, of course, they are acting on the level of pure devotion, but there are some pure devotees here also who are still conditioned, because again, we have read this quote from one Srila Prabhupada's class where Srila Prabhupada explained, it was maybe 2 or 3 classes before, Srila Prabhupada, he is explaining that pure devotee, it is not only those devotees who are pure, but also those who are following to the pure devotee. Maybe you remember that quote. So in that sense, this term or this word combination, pure devotee, it is about many different living entities, including Ksharas, including those who are conditioned. But anyway, they are sincerely trying to follow this path of devotional service, pure devotional service, under guidance of those who are already liberated.
So we should understand the Aksharas as Vaikuntha residents.
Vaikuntha, Goloka, and
Goloka,
so on. Any spiritual planet, any spiritual planet of Lord Ramachandra, any spiritual planet. There are many of them. I'm not so much well versed about what's going on in the spiritual world, but anyway, there are many planets. I've heard that there is a planet where Nrisimhadev is living. Nrisimhadev. So there is some variety. It is not only about Vaikunthas, Goloka, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's abode, and so on and so on. Okay.
So besides the Jiva Tattvas, there is the Vishnu Tattva. That is what the previous verse is telling, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Jiva Tattva, it is about living entities, parts and parcels of Supreme Lord. They can be situated in material world or in spiritual. And Vishnu Tattva, it is about Krishna or about his different expansions, incarnations, Lila avatars, Yuga avatars, Lila avatars, and so on. Many of them. He comes to material world in many different forms. It is all Vishnu Tattva. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Oh, Dwarkadish Prabhuji, nice to see you again. Hare
We
Krishna.
have soul, which is eternal.
Again, please
which
repeat.
is akshara.
No, you
my understanding.
repeat
when
from the
we
beginning.
come-
From the beginning. Repeat from the beginning.
Okay. Now we have Atma and we body.
No,
Atma is
no, sir. We don't have Atma. We have body. We are Atmas. Okay, we are Atmas. We have body. It is not that we are
Yeah,
body
yeah.
who has Atma.
Yeah, okay.
It goes in opposite side.
Okay.
We are Atmas who
Atmas.
have body. Who have body.
Okay.
Yes.
We
It
are
is important.
Atmas.
Yeah.
Can I consider it is akshara? And we come into a body condition, then we become shara.
If we're speaking about akshara, it means someone who is situated in spiritual world. But because we are here now in material world, how we can call ourselves akshara? We're aksharas. We have these material bodies. We are here.
We understand. What I'm telling is that the living entity, the Atma, is
Yeah,
always eternal.
it's eternal.
It becomes imperfect because it is enter into the body condition. That's why the difference between Shara and Akshara. Can we say that? Because the same living entity, once it gets liberated, it goes to Vaikuntha.
Ah,
So it becomes Shara.
yes, there is a chance to become.
So imperfection comes in to the soul because it is conditioned into the body.
Conditioning to the body, conditioned to the mind, conditioned to false conceptions
including
of
everything,
life.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It comes into the body because it is influencing the mind, false ego, intelligence, everything.
Well, originally one comes to material world because he became envious to Krishna, as far as all of us we know. It is the original cause. And then when we are here in our journey through material world, then all these details are there. Different forms of lives, different conditionings. It is changeable, but original cause, according to Srila Prabhupada's teachings, is our envy to Krishna and our desire to get this experience, to be the main person in our own life. Not to act according to Krishna's interests, but to act according to our own interests. It is our original cause why we're here.
So while we are in Vaikuntha, there is also a possibility for fallible.
Yeah.
Shara. There is a possibility too.
Possibility. You see, we have read already verse from Bhagavad Gita where it is written that once you came back to spiritual world, you never come back to material world. So it means now we are here in material world, we are getting a particular experience of being without Krishna. And if we will succeed with our spiritual practice, then we will go back to his abode already with this experience, which will allow us to remain there, not to come back. That is the point.
Another question, Prabhu. If at all there is a possibility for the liberated soul to fall down, it is coming gradually from the higher planet to the lower planet to the Bhuloka. Can I say that?
Everything starts from form of life of Brahma, of Lord Brahma. And then, yes, the degradation is going from one species of life to another. Yes, that's right.
So it's not a drastic fall down, it's a gradual fall down, right?
Oh, well, it depends what way of calculation of time we are going to use, because from the point of view of spiritual world, everything happens very quickly. All our presence here in material world from time immemorial, it is from the point of view in the spiritual world, it is like you blink your eyes. It is just short period of time. And here in material world, we have so many birth, so much pain of material existence, So that's why you are asking, does it happen gradually or not? From materialistic point of view, gradually. From spiritual point of view, everything happens immediately. It depends
Okay.
on from
So,
which point of view we're going to judge it.
yeah. So as what Krishna says is once a soul get liberated, go to Vaikuntha, Goloka, he will remain permanently there. There is no possibility to fall down.
Yeah. Well, Krishna, he is saying this in Bhagavad Gita. They are not returning to material world. So we just accept Bhagavad Gita's words. So on the basis of this faith, we expect that, okay, now because of our foolishness, we're here in material world, but Krishna, he promises that no more foolishness and no more fall down.
For the soul,
there are some exceptions. Sorry, there are some exceptions. There is exception when someone is sent by Krishna to material world. He can be liberated. He can be transcendental, but he is sent to material world by Krishna with some mission, like Srila Prabhupada was. It is not, but it is exception. Means he comes to material world not because of his own desires, but because of desires of Krishna. It is the exception.
Yeah, they are all empowered soul, right? Empowered soul. They are coming for a special mission. To complete, they go back.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the worst guys in the world, falling down, creating all kind of problems.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay, understand.
Yeah, it is good to be a little bit humorous about our miserable condition in this world. It is good. Narottama Prabhuji, yeah, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Following this discussion of Kshara and Akshara, my understanding is these two terms apply mainly to the soul, no? It's nothing to do with the body.
I'm not getting your point. Again, please repeat.
No, I'm saying that the terms Akshara and Kshara, they apply mainly to the soul. It's nothing to do with the body.
Yes, of course. If we're speaking about Akshara or those who are staying in spiritual world, there is no question of material body. They are in spiritual world. It is not about body. It is about type of consciousness. It is about their position when they are living in spiritual abode or in material world. It is about this.
So when we use the term Sharaha, which is applying to the material world, because we are all conditioned over here. So are we all Sharaha?
Well, I don't know. Maybe there are some Paramahamsas between us, but I don't have spiritual vision to see. Maybe there are some who are just making show of them that they are neophytes. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there are some special messengers, ambassadors from spiritual world. I don't know. But usually we consider ourselves to be just simple souls who needs Krishna's mercy, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, like this. Yeah.
Because we have read several times in Bhagavad Gita, there are souls which are liberated, even if they are in this material world. So can we consider them Akshara?
Can we consider to be Akshara whom?
I mean, even they are in this material world, they are like liberated souls, like purely self-realized souls. Like the Uttamadhikaris, can we consider them Akshara?
Well, we can call them that they are transcendental to material world. We can say like this. But again, just let's check the verse.
15.16.
Let's check. Yeah. You see, the literal meaning that Akshara is one who is situated in spiritual world. So we use this word for those who are situated at this particular moment there in spiritual world. Of course, they can go here, but we use another term. We can say that they are transcendental to material world, for example. But these particular terms, Kshara and Akshara, are about their their residence. It is about their residence. Where do they reside? It is about this. Exactly according to the verse. Their literal
Okay,
meaning.
okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
we're Hare Krishna, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
We're going further, and we will ask whom we are going to ask. Mataji Manju Bhashini Vishnu Priya. Can you read the verses? What is your situation?
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Prabhu. I'm not well. Sorry, Prabhu. I'm not able to read, Prabhu. I'm not well.
Not able. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's okay, that's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, Dwarkadish Prabhuji, then please you kindly read the verse number 18.
Hare Krishna, but I'm always eager to read.
You are eager. It is nice.
Okay. Text 18. Yasmat saram atitoham aham aksarat api sotama ato asmi loke vede cha pratita purushotamaha. Translation. Because I'm transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I'm the greatest, I'm celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that supreme person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see, that's why this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga, because this word is here, Purushottamaha, Purusha Uttama, supreme personality. Uttama means supreme, Purusha means personality. So that's why this chapter has such title. In purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, it is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being on the same level or equal in all respects. There is always the question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities. The word Uttama is very significant. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is one of the verses which defeats Mayavada philosophy. Anyway, Mayavadis, they are trying to write such purports where they are denying that Krishna is a person, or they are denying that he is God. They are saying that it is some kind of historical personality. But anyway, this particular verse, 15.18, shows us that he is Purushottama, Purusha Uttama, or Supreme Personality of Godhead. Also, Chandogya Upanishad is quoted in the verse, the super soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahma Jyotir, then in his form he remains in his spiritual identity. That supreme is called the Supreme Personality. This means that the Supreme Personality is exhibiting and diffusing his spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. Again, we're speaking that there is moonlight, sunlight, and electricity, all these energies, but the original light is the light which comes from spiritual body of Sri Krishna. That's why it is written here that he is ultimate illumination. That Supreme Personality also has a localized aspect as Paramatma. By incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara, he explains the Vedic knowledge as Vyasadeva. So in this verse, Krishna, he is saying about himself that he is celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as a supreme person. And we have different celebrations like Krishna Janmashtami, Gaura Purnima, Rama Navami. We can celebrate his glory. It is so nice dates, special dates when we celebrate Krishna's glory or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glory. Okay, Mataji Bhakti Priya Madhavi. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, here when this Chandogya Upanishad is quoted, the super soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. This is like once the body is going back, right? I mean, it has when the Atma has left the body, the super soul
very nice
the
question.
impersonal Brahma.
Just let me check the Russian translation, because in such way it will be easier for me to understand actually what is written here, okay? Just one moment. Just let me scroll the language. Here. Okay, just let's compare what is written here. The super soul coming out of the body. You are asking whose is this body, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. That's the Jivatma's body.
Well, according to the Russian text, it looks like it is someone's body of some of living entity. Means that super soul is accompanying living entity, and well, actually, it is not clear for me. I should ask someone. Just let me take a note. I should ask someone about this. 15.18. Chandogya Upanishad. Okay. This particular moment I have to clarify. But anyway, Srila Prabhupada, he explains that there are three aspects of absolute truth, like Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, and it is all about Krishna. But exactly what, if to speak about this quote from Chandogya Upanishad, it is a little bit unclear for me. That's right. Thank you. You're a very attentive student. Very attentive student. Thank you very much.
Well, Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, let's go to the last two verses of this chapter. The last two verses are about very simple idea. Simple idea. The idea is that if you know Krishna, you know everything. Maybe you have heard such statement. So the last two verses of 15th chapter is about this. And Narottam Prabhuji, would you like to read the verse?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yo mam evam asamuddho janati purushottamam sasarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. Translation. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So you see here, one word is quite important. Just one moment. Where it is? It is... it will be in the next verse. Just let's check it. Okay, it is not here. Anyway. So, Krishna is saying, whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He, therefore, engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. So there is materialistic knowledge, there is spiritual knowledge. Sometimes we are saying that Bhakti Yoga is for intelligent people. If we are speaking about intelligence, there is materialistic intelligence which helps one to be successful in some materialistic activities in the life of society. And there is very special spiritual intelligence which is helpful for spiritual life. And the sources of this intelligence are Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. We accept their instructions, and gradually, because of our spiritual practice, we get our own intelligence in ourselves because of Krishna. Krishna gives this intelligence. Just let me show you the verse where the process of achieving this intelligence is described. Likely you remember this verse 10.10. Tisham satata yuktanam, bhajatam priti purvakam, dadami buddhi yogam tam, yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. So it is some special intelligence which is needed to progress spiritually. And in purport, the last paragraph, Srila Prabhupada writes, a person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, it happens like this, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engages himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion renders all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. It is exactly what we have read in 14th chapter, the process how to become transcendental, how to become free from three modes of material nature, how to understand Krishna, Bhakti mam abhijannati, yavan yaschasmi tatvataha, tato mam tatvato gyatva, vishate tadanantaram. The only process is devotional service. So by practicing devotional service and by following Guru Sadhu Shastra, we attract Krishna's mercy to our life. And this Krishna's mercy bestows on us also in form, not only in form of spiritual taste, but also in form of spiritual intelligence, in form of understanding how to progress spiritually. So if we are speaking about intelligence, people can be not so much intelligent from materialistic point of view. They can be not so much familiar with physics, chemistry, biology, etc., foreign languages. But from Krishna's point of view, he is nice. He is accepted. Like we know this famous story from Chaitanya Lila about one illiterate Brahmana who was reading Bhagavad Gita because spiritual master has ordered him to read Bhagavad Gita. So he was reading Bhagavad Gita, and his Sanskrit pronunciation was so strange that people just were laughing at him. And but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he immediately understood that this person understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita. He understood it by asking this Brahmana, why you are crying? He was crying, the tears were coming from his eyes. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, why you are crying? Maybe you are crying because all these people around you are criticizing you for this Sanskrit pronunciation, which you are unable to do properly. And he is answering, no, I'm crying because I understand that out of his mercy, Krishna became Parthasarathi. He became a chariot driver of Arjuna's chariot. He became a driver of Arjuna's chariot, and it is his special mercy to his devotees. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have heard such words from lotus lips of this illiterate Brahmana, he embraced him and he told, okay, you understood the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So from materialistic point of view, person can be illiterate, he can be not so much knowledgeable, but this intelligence, spiritual intelligence, is a special category, special intelligence. And we get it from Guru Sadhu Shastra, and we can get this intelligence by engaging ourselves in devotional service. And the more intelligence we get, the more we want to be engaged in devotional service. So it goes like this, like circle. It goes like circle. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that there is a word bhajati, which is used in this verse. Word bhajati is very significant. In many places, the word bhajati is expressed in relationship with the service of the Supreme Lord. If a person is engaged in full Krishna consciousness in the devotional service of the Lord, it is to be understood that he has understood all the Vedic knowledge. In the Vaishnava Parampara, it is said that if one is engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, then there is no need of any other spiritual process for understanding the supreme absolute truth. He has already come to the point because he is engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So again, we can say Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, because he gave us the essence of Vedic literature. He saved a lot of time, of our time, just by giving us the most essential books, the most essential process which works in Kali Yuga, and he gave us this process of devotional service, which actually means that we already came to the point by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. We don't have to to do different kinds of charity, austerities, and so on. All these preliminary processes are not needed. We already came to the point by Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Now we should just follow his instructions. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And the last verse.
Prabhu, just one more question, Prabhu. Sorry.
Okay, very good.
Clarification.
Very good. Okay.
I just want to know, Vyasadev, is he Vishnu Tattva or what is, because he's an Hamsa avatar,
Yeah.
is he Vishnu Tattva or in between or Vyasadev?
Vishnu Tattva.
Because
Vishnu Tattva. We already have read this in one of the purports in previous verses. If you wish, we can just scroll back and we can see where it was. Just one moment. It was written exactly here in purport to the verse number 18. By incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara, he explains the Vedic knowledge as Vyasadeva. It is about Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is here in the purport to the verse 18. So he is Vishnu Tattva. Vyasadeva is Vishnu Tattva. Okay. Oh, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama. Okay, Mataji Divya, would you like to read the last verse of the chapter? Hare Krishna.
I'll read Hare Krishna. Iti guyatmanam shastram idam uktam mayanaga etad bhutva buddhiman syat kritva krityascha bharata. Translation: This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scripture, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So you see this word anaga is used here. Here, anaga. Anaga means sinless. Maybe you remember from the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was giving different arguments why he is not going to fight on Kurukshetra battlefield. One of the arguments was that he was fearful that because of his participants on Kurukshetra battlefield, he will get sinful reactions. So here, Krishna explains that these activities, that he he will not cover himself with sin, and these activities are also not sinful. And also this word anaga, sinful, is important here in the sense that if one is sinless, this word sinless, anaga, is important here because unless one is sinful, these sins are like impediments for him to understand who is Krishna, to understand Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like, for example, in Science of Self-Realization book, we can find particular statement given by Srila Prabhupada that actually meat-eaters, they cannot get realization of Supreme Personality of Godhead. They cannot do it. Just because, and the example is given, like, for example, there is a family. There is a father and a few sons, and one of them, who is the senior son, he is saying to the father that we have a junior one, and this junior, he is mentally diseased and he is useless. Just let us eat him. Anyway, he is useless. So he gives this analogy just to explain that the same way meat eaters are acting, they are taking flesh of other living entities who are also sons and daughters of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is not pleasant for Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one cannot get realization of God if he is meat-eater. So the role of sinful activities is such that they are like clouds that are covering the sun of knowledge. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that where he writes here, one will become intelligent and perfect in transcendental knowledge. By understanding this philosophy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engaging in his transcendental service, everyone, just pay attention, everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Devotional service is the process of spiritual understanding. It is not just activity, it is process of spiritual understanding. The more we serve, the more closer we become to Krishna, the more realizations we get, spiritual realization, spiritual experience, and the more spiritual understanding we get. That's why we're saying Bhakti mam abhijanati yavan yashasmi tatvataha tato mam tatvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. It is verse from 18th chapter where it is written that Krishna can be known only by process of devotional service. Devotional service, it is process of spiritual understanding. It is the way how one can develop his understanding of Krishna. And also here Srila Prabhupada writes that everyone can become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. I know one devotee who is saying, I'm so hopeless, I'm so sinful, even Nityananda Prabhu cannot help me. Such opinion he has about himself. Sometimes people, they just prefer not to be active in devotional service, and it is one of the ways or excuses how they are trying to avoid active position in devotional service, just by saying that I'm so sinful, I'm so hopeless, and I'm sinful, I don't want to go to devotee society, I don't want to contaminate you, devotees, by my presence, and so on. Sometimes people, they are saying such things just to avoid active devotional life. But anyway, here Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport, and our society is called International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It is for everyone, so everyone has this chance to become freed from all contaminations of the modes of material nature. Everyone has chance. It is just the question of time, of our efforts, and of Krishna's mercy. And how to be tolerant and enthusiastic and determined on this path, you will get to know in Nectar of Instruction. Nectar of Instruction, verse number 3. It is explained there. The word anagha, by which Arjuna is addressed, is significant. O sinless one means that unless one is free from all sinful reactions, it is very difficult to understand Krishna. One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities, then he can understand. But devotional service is so pure and potent that once one is engaged in devotional service, he automatically comes to the stage of sinlessness. Sometimes people can say, how I can understand, am I sinful or not? I'm not sure, am I sinful or not? And in one class, Srila Prabhupada, he explains that the very fact that we have material body, it is already the sign that sins are there. It is the same way, like for example, someone is put in jail or prison and particular cloth is given to him, which is given to those who are in the prison. So the same way, material body is given to us. And material body, if it is given to us, it means that basically some sins are there. Maybe less, maybe more, but sins are there. And we become engaged in the process of devotional service. And then this material body, which is like a punishment for us, like particular dress of a prisoner, then this body becomes an instrument in the process of devotional service. It is so nice. It becomes instrument in the process of devotional service. It is called to get the best from bad bargain. Like Srila Prabhupada, he was saying, we have to get the best from bad bargain. We have this body. Actually, body is like a punishment, and we experience old age, diseases, all these things through the body. But we can get the best from this bad bargain, but by engaging our material body in the process of devotional service and by getting eternal benefit through this process. And now let's read the last paragraph of the purport. And after this, if you will be having some questions, then I will happily answer on these questions. While one is performing devotional service in the association of pure devotees in full Krishna consciousness, there are certain things which require to be vanquished altogether. The most important thing one has to surmount is weakness of the heart. The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. Thus one gives up the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. The second weakness of the heart is that as one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature, he becomes attached to matter and the possession of the matter. The problems of material existence are due to these weaknesses of the heart. In this chapter, the first 5 verses described the process of freeing oneself from these weaknesses of the heart, and the rest of the chapter from the 6th verse through the end discusses Purushottama Yoga. So this chapter is about that there is propensity to lord it over material nature, and we have to purify our hearts and to become free from this propensity. And the next chapter number 16, will be exactly about these 2 categories of living entities: divine natures and demonic natures, means those who are trying to follow spiritual path and those who are trying to be masters in this material world, who are trying to lord it over material nature, and who become more and more conditioned by this mentality, creating troubles for themselves and for others. It will be discussed in the next chapter, and someone was raising his hand and then hand was removed. Naruttama Prabhuji, right? Okay, so what is your question or point?
I was going to ask a question and you gave the answer just at the end over here. My question was relating to the 2 weaknesses of the heart. So we can summarize the 2 weaknesses of the heart is that we are trying to become the master and controller. Because you just gave the answer.
The first fall down is caused by the desire to lord it over material nature. The second weakness of the heart is that one increases the propensity to lord it over material nature. He becomes attached to matter and the possession of matter. Means he is trying...
It's like progressively trying to become the controller.
Yeah, that's the point. He is trying to control material nature, but actually material nature is controlling him because material nature is more powerful. It works like this.
So like a paradox, he's trying to become the controller, but at the same time it's a weakness.
Yeah.
So trying to become strong is like a weakness for us.
It is weakness because if we are trying to do this, we are not engaged in devotional service, which is our Sanatana Dharma, our natural position, which will help us to be happy, to have a life which will satisfy us and which will satisfy Krishna. That is the point. Means that, okay, he becomes strong in the sense that he can control something in material world, but the desire to follow spiritual path becomes weaker. The desire to follow spiritual path becomes weaker. That is the point.
Because when we do devotional service, we have to be submissive. We have to submit, surrender.
Yeah.
So there's no question of becoming controller. Yeah.
it is really, it is paradox about what is weakness and what is power. Because from materialistic point of view, to surrender to someone is weakness. And from spiritual point of view, to surrender to Supreme Lord, it requires determination and spiritual power and many other things.
Spiritual strength. Yes.
Yeah, strength. Yeah, that's the point. You see.
Thank you.
Thank you for this very wonderful question. Do we have some more questions or thoughts? Hare Krishna. Dwarkadish Prabhu.
Referring to the second last paragraph of text 20,
Okay.
just reading, after that I pose my question. I read first, then I pose my question. O sinless one means that unless one is free from all sinful reaction, it is very difficult to understand Krishna.
Yeah.
One has to become free from all contamination, all sinful activities. Then he can understand. So when we take a body, the soul takes a body, living in this material world, we are knowingly and unknowingly committing all kind of sins.
Yeah.
So how do we interpret this statement?
Oh, very simple. Very simple. First of all, we should give up for the most sinful activities. I'm speaking about these 4 regulative principles that we're giving up: meat eating and gambling and illicit sex and intoxications. It is the most, how to say, it is like pillars of Kali Yuga. There is pillars of religious life, there are pillars of religious life, and it is pillars of Kali Yuga. We're rejecting these sinful activities, and then gradually, step by step, we are becoming free when we are going through the process of anartha nivriti. We are becoming free from other things that are more subtle, and on the first stages of spiritual life, they are almost invisible for us. We cannot see some subtle things in our consciousness that we should purify. So we start, first of all, we start from following 4 regulative principles, and it helps a lot.
Besides these 4 regulative principles, Prabhu, while we are moving in our life, we also end up in killing unknowingly, like walking on the street and killing ants and all this. I mean, killing the soul.
Yeah.
You know? So this kind of thing, how do we understand that? We are not free from the sinful activities as long as we are living in the body.
Yeah,
So
that's
how do
right. Well,
so
we're
how do
not
we-
yeah. We're not followers
Krishna
of.
excuses-
Sorry. We're not followers of Jainism. We're not followers of Jainism. These people who are trying not to step on any ant and not to inhale any insect. We're not doing this. There are such people, they are trying to avoid it. But anyway, even when we boil water, it's important to boil water sometimes. Anyway, so many living entities are killed there. It depends what kind of living entities. If, or for example, we're eating vegetables and fruits, it is also related to other living entities. But where there are different living entities and there is different responsibility for killing or doing harm for other living entities, we are avoiding, for example, we're avoiding meat eating, we're not eating cows, we're not killing cows. Something is unavoidable. Well, if we are engaged sufficiently in devotional service, then this karma will be burnt out. And of course, we should not commit some serious sinful activities like meat eating and other things.
Because practically, Prabhu, when we are offering flowers to the Lord, there are a lot of ants inside. Flowers, we are offering flowers, decoration, flowers, and everything. In between the flowers, there are a lot of ants and everything. We are washing them, we are cleaning them, all kind of things happening. They are subject to killing. These kind of problems happening every day. That's happening,
Every day.
These are all my subtle kind of sins. Or minute sins, I don't know.
Well, what to do? If you can avoid, you avoid. But this fanaticism, which is specific for Jainism followers, we don't practice this. we just take it simple. But if you can, if you can avoid something, or if you see that there is a cockroach and you don't want to kill him, you can take it and put it in window. Of course, you can do like this. Why not?
He'll come back again.
maybe he will come back to another flat. Maybe not to yours. Who knows? We don't know.
So the basic requirement is the 4 regulative principles. That is most important.
4 regulative principles, and when we follow this spiritual path under guidance of spiritual master and our seniors, usually some anarthas also become manifested time to time, and we have to work on our character and on our behavior. So in such way, yeah. But the main process is bhakti. It means we do this service for Krishna, and these sinful reactions are burned in a flame and fire of devotional service. This process is described in Nectar of Devotion. It is one of the symptoms or effects of pure devotional service. It is called Klesha Agni. Klesha Agni. Agni means that these samskaras, these kleshas, sinful kleshas, are burned out because of the process of devotional service by mercy of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
One more question. The 10 offenses we are talking about. Yeah, the 10 offenses we are talking about.
Yeah.
Are we categorize this as an offense, or is part of the sinful reactions?
We should distinguish between sinful activities and offenses. Sinful activities, it is usually we get reactions when we do some sinful activities. We get reactions on the level of law of karma. We just get something as our so-called reward. But if we are speaking about offenses or about aparadhas, it is about our actions in relationships with Krishna, with holy name, with deities, and so on. It is the difference. Because if we are speaking about just sinful activities, it is about our relationships with material nature without knowing and without remembering of Krishna, not in terms of relationships with Krishna. So if we commit offense, it not only will create some reactions for us, but also it damages our relationships with Supreme Lord. That is the difference. So if you can just experience your reward for some sinful actions in past, you get something as your result, some sufferings and so on, and in such way you become free from these reactions just by experiencing some troubles or sufferings. But if one wants to become free from reactions for offenses, one has to act in more personal way. For example, Vaishnava Paradha. One can become free from results or reactions for Vaishnava Paradha just by begging for forgiveness before the person whom we offended. And there is no other way. And because it is much more personal subject matter, and Krishna takes it seriously. If we are speaking about aparadhas, about these things that are in dimension of devotional service. But if we are speaking about just sinful activities, it is not in dimension of practice of devotional service, it is in dimension of karma. And this law of karma will be just impartially will give you some reactions for the for actions that were done in past. So it is the difference between these things.
It's a great clarification, law of karma and then offenses, 2 different things.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees. Hare Krishna. See you day after tomorrow.
Thank you very much
See you
for
day.
all your clarification. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for all your clarification. Yeah.
Very good. Okay. See you day after tomorrow. Vanchikal patarubhyascha kripa sinubhya evacha. Patitanam pavane bhyo vaishnava bhyo namo namaha.
Nandakodi Vaishnavandi ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna.
Jai.
Hare
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 Krishna.
Bol.